What up, gang of language? Carolina Jackpot coming at you. It is late on Monday evening, and as the old saying goes, it's better late than never, right? You remember back on Friday morning? You remember that? Early on Friday morning, Carolina picked 20 games, picks against the spread for you. Well, it's time to unveil the winners, the losers, and how I did on those picks. Let's get to it, shall we? So here we go with the trusty old legal paper printed out on my Hewlett-Packard computer. 20 games, picks against the spread for the weekend of 10/10 through 2020. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. And going into this weekend, cumulative record through week 5 was 28, 35, and 1. So 7 games below 500, give or take. Let's see how I did this week, and if we were able to make up any ground on that kind of abysmal record through 5 weeks. I had Georgia Tech covering on Friday night against Louisville, and they did. Georgia Tech won 46-27. One right, one on the board. South Carolina on the road at Vanderbilt. Had South Carolina covering the 12-point spread. This was a Saturday game, by the way. And they did that and much, much more. South Carolina with the 41-7 victory on the road against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Yeah, the COVID-infected Commodores and all. You know, that's the only reason y'all won that game, Carolina Jackpot. Y'all had such an easy time because they had some players out with COVID tracing and blah, 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 blah. Y'all know it doesn't have nothing to do with y'all. Well, maybe that's true, yeah. Might be true. I don't know. It's not. Well, they can't play this week, actually. Their game against Missouri is canceled. Pitt at Boston College. I took Boston College in this one, and Boston College won 31-30 at home against Pitt. Another correct pick. Virginia Tech on the road at UNC. UNC was laying 4.5 at home, and they covered 56-45. Win over Virginia Tech. UNC has been vaulted way up there in the rankings, and you know, without these teams from the other two major Power 5 conferences in there, they're going to be a little bit higher than what they really should. I get it. They have a great offense. They really do. They have a great offense. And that defense, man, it's suspect as hell. It is suspect. They're not going to make it to the next level. Let's not forget that this team is just a win over Virginia Tech, a shootout win, a decent win over Syracuse, pretty dominating win there in the second half anyway, and a back and forth win over Boston College that could have easily been a loss. You take those 3 wins, and they're just, 8-9 months removed from being a 6-6 team in a regular season. And the hype is, I understand the hype for the offense, but yeah. Anyway, Texas at Oklahoma. I had Texas in this game, and this one was incorrect. First incorrect pick here on the sheet. Oklahoma won that game 53-45 in a couple of overtimes, wasn't it? LSU at Mizzou. This one was moved from LSU to Mizzou due to Hurricane Delta, and Mizzou gets a nice win there, 45-41 over LSU. They come up with a goal line stand at the end of the game, and they take the win over the defending national champs. I get it. I know they fell off a lot from what they were last year, but I mean, this is still a good win for Missouri, especially the first-year head coach. Nice win for the Mizzou Tigers. Congratulations. Florida at Texas A&M. I had Texas A&M in this game covering, and they won 41-38. NC State at Virginia. I had NC State covering in this game. NC State beats Virginia 38-21. Nice win for Dave Duran and the Wolfpack. They look like they're on the way back this year. Duke at Syracuse. I had Duke covering in this game, and they won by a final score of 38-24. Yep. It's amazing what happens when Duke doesn't turn the ball over. They do pretty decent. Texas Tech at Iowa State. I had Texas Tech covering here. This one was wrong. Iowa State won 31-15. props to them for holding Texas Tech to 15 points. That's pretty impressive. UTSA at BYU. I had UTSA covering this big number, and they did that more than some. 27-20. BYU wins there only by a touchdown. Very surprising. All right, on to page numero 2. Kansas State at TCU. I had Kansas State covered, and they won the games. 21-14. Arkansas at Auburn. Auburn was catching 13.5 or laying 13.5 at home to Arkansas, and this one was wrong. Auburn won 30-28. I'm not going to rehash the drama with the fumble and all that at the end of that one with the Bo Nix and all that stuff. Everybody's heard that one. They've seen it. You got your own opinions on it. I'm going to rehash that one, but I don't. Anyway, Alabama at Ole Miss. I had Ole Miss covering the spread, and they did here. Alabama wins 63-48, right? 48, whatever. Either ones, they covered the spread. Yeah, everybody wants to talk about Alabama's defense here. Alabama's defense is horrible. Alabama's defense is terrible. It's a shit show. Oh, look at how much points. Look at how many yards they gave up to Ole Miss. Are we not going to sit here and talk about the fact they scored 63 points? They put up 63, a 63 burger on Ole Miss. That's a lot of points. That's 9 touchdowns. Okay, so let's just, Ole Miss will play you into that type of game. They just will. That's why I took them to cover here. Marshall, I took to cover against Western Kentucky, and they did. They win 38-14. I was a little bit scared there at first because that line I thought was just fundamentally wrong, and it was too short. And I said, man, Vegas knows something here. Apparently they didn't. Marshall with easy win over the Hilltoppers. Mississippi State at Kentucky. I got this one wrong. Kentucky wins that game 24-2. I don't know what Mississippi State is. I don't know what they are this year. They are they're just a mind fuck of a football program right now. You don't what you're going to get from one week to the other with the Pirate and his crew. Miami at Clemson. I had Miami covering this game, and they did not. They lost 42-17 to the Clemson Tigers. Just a dominating performance by Clemson once again. And, that one, we'll talk about that one more in a minute. Florida State at Notre Dame. That one was wrong. Florida State actually covered the spread there. They lose 42-26. Notre Dame could have covered the spread, but they were stopped inside Florida State's 10-yard line with like less than a minute to go in the game. I think they just kind of petered out on it, and Florida State loses the game by 16, so they cover that number. Tennessee at Georgia. I picked the Vols to cover the spread here. The Vols disappointed me on this front anyway, and they lose 44-21. They played good in the first half, though, didn't they? Played good in the first half. Yeah, okay. And Charlotte at North Texas. Charlotte, I didn't write that one down. Charlotte beat North Texas by a lot. It was by like 23 points. If you don't believe me, go look it up. I'm just kidding. I know you believe me. All right, so let's see how we did here. We'll just start right here. There's it's 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 2-4, 3-4, 3-5, 4-5, 5-5, 5-6, 6-6, 7-6, 8-6, 9-6, 9-7. 10-7, 11, 12, 13-7 on the week for Carolina Jackpot. Picks against the spread. So we go 13-7 this week. Not sure what percentage that is. And we got some mathematicians that can figure it out in your head real quick. But 42 there, and so now we got, well, thought we were going to be back. Nope. So we're now sitting in a cumulative through week 6 of 41, 42, and 1. So next week, or this week actually, as it is now, pull out a winning record on the picks. I'll actually be back up over 500 for the year. We're almost at an even slate. Almost, but not quite. There is more work to be done. As always, I'm going to have the superlatives, the Turd of the Week, the You Should Have Known Better pick of the week, and the You Nailed It pick of the week. The Turd of the Week is not necessarily like one of my picks. This time it happens to be one of my picks, but, it doesn't always have to be. It can just be a team that performs really badly. But let's go forward and see who you think it is. I'll give you 3 guesses. First 2 don't count, right?
Oh my God! It freaking stinks.
It absolutely does, and I will have to. I will have to give the Turd of the Week to the Miami Hurricanes. So disappointing. Not just the fact that you disappointed me, because I picked you to cover the number and you didn't, and you came nowhere close to even doing so. It was just the fashion in which you lost the game. And I go back and I watch a little bit of it tonight. It was back on a replay. You just weren't physical enough. You just were not physical enough. Case in point, late second quarter, Clemson tight end Braden Galloway catches a little, almost like a little jump pass there from Trevor Lawrence, takes it in from about 12 yards out. I mean, he just ran over your defensive back. I mean, it was just comical. It was comical, how soft you are as far as your defensive position goes. You're dominated on both lines of scrimmage. You didn't look good in any phase of your offense. And I get it. I get that Clemson is a really good team. But the fact of the matter is that all year long, ever since y'all got that win on the road against Louisville, and even more so after you got that big win against Florida State, all I heard was the U is back. It's going to be like 2017 again. We're going to make a run to the ACC championship. We're on a collision course with Clemson. We'll play them twice this year. If we don't win this one, we're going to have a chance to beat them again. No, none of that is true. None of that is true. And guess what? You got several more losses coming up on that schedule as well. I think that you could lose to Pitt this weekend, although I'm not necessarily sure I'm going to pick that. You have a Virginia Tech team that you could lose to. And despite the fact that I already mentioned to you that I think that they're overrated because of the fact that defense is not that good, North Carolina will probably beat you. So just more and more and more disappointment from the Miami Hurricanes. You're not ready for the big time. You're not ready for it, and it's not really an indictment on you. There are a lot of teams out there. A lot of these teams just do not play defense, and you don't play solid defense. You do not have anywhere near championship level defense. You had too many missed tackles. You had too many blown coverages. Just anything defensively negative that I can say. I mean, those adjectives would fit that performance on Saturday night. It just wasn't good, and I could also lump this into another one of my superlatives on my picks, but I'm not going to. We also had the You Should Have Known Better pick of the week, which
What are you thinking, man? You should have known a lot better than that.
Yep, I should have. And I could also group that Clemson Tiger pick into the You Should Have Known Better pick of the week because I just should have. I've sat here all last week on this channel, on the podcast that I do with my buddies, and talked about how the Tigers, they get up for games like this against ranked opponents at home, especially in the conference, because they've always got this complex of, Nobody respects little old Clemson. Look, they got a lot of people's picking this team to cover the spread against us, or maybe knock us off. And this is our ACC, and this is our ACC championship. The sky's falling, all that good stuff. So why did I pick Miami? Why did I pick them to cover the number? Why did you do that? Carolina jackpot? Easy. I bought into the hype. I'm guilty. Guilty as charged. I bought into the hype just like so many of you out there did. I listened to those Las Vegas people, and guess what? They ain't always right. Some of them, I don't know if some of them even watch games. I think they just crunch numbers. I don't know that they actually sit there and watch games. Because if you had watched games, and I've watched games, I've watched every one of Miami's games. I didn't watch much of the Florida State game because we had, I think that was the first day the Gamecocks played. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't know why I didn't watch that one, but I didn't. But I mean, you can tell the story. You can pretty much figure out what happened there. Florida State turned the ball over a bunch. Couldn't move the ball worth a shit. Miami scored at will. In the story. And people look at the 10 points that they scored in that game and think, well, that's Miami's got a stout defense. No, they don't. That was just an indictment on how sorry Florida State was. I'm glad to see that they changed quarterbacks there. But you should have known better pick of the week this week, since I can't pick the turd of the week and that one simultaneously. I'm going to have to go with Tennessee at Georgia. I thought the Vols would come in. I thought they would play hard. I thought they would put up a decent fight against Georgia. They did in the first half. It was virtually even. They jumped out. They got a little momentum early, but they couldn't sustain it. And it's just it's not really that much of an indictment on Tennessee either. Georgia's defense is elite, and they're going to give a lot of people problems. I wish that in game one we had like 60% of that defense. We would have beaten Tennessee as well. But we couldn't give Jarrett Guarantano. We couldn't get the kind of pressure on him that Georgia did. So we didn't force any mistakes from him. That's just, Georgia's defensive line just has a hell of a damn push. Their linebackers are good. Their safeties, their corners, they're good. They just shut them down, and I should have known a little bit better than that on that one. That they wouldn't lay a turd at home. So my fault with that. But you always have that one. Usually you do. You have that one pick that you are really proud of, because man.
Boy, you straight nailed that shit, player.
Yes, I did. And that would have to be the very first pick on this page. Louisville at Georgia Tech, that Friday night game down in the ATL, right? That's what I start saying now, isn't it? The ATL, it's everywhere. It's on the Atlanta Falcons jerseys. It's on the ground down there at Bobby Dodd Stadium. They probably got it on the Atlanta Braves shit somewhere too. We're in the ATL. Look good in the ATL. Back and forth game for 3 quarters. And in the fourth quarter, Louisville straight got dominated by Georgia Tech. Now, Louisville looks good. On offense. They look good on offense. That Hawkins kid at running back, man, that kid can hit some holes now. He hits holes like a damn freight train. He has some problems holding on to the ball, though. And that ultimately, some of the turnovers, some penalties, just kind of led to their undoing. And I took Georgia Tech in this situation simply because I knew that Louisville's defense was doo-doo. And, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out and just watch their games. I mean, Miami, just ran all over them. I mean, Pitt's wet fart offense ran all over them too. They couldn't stop them. And I just knew that Louisville would not be able to stop what Georgia Tech had going on, and they didn't. And also these Friday night matchups, they tend to favor home underdogs. They just do. They tend to favor home underdogs. Hello, Clemson. You know a little something about that, don't you? These Friday night games can be tricky. And please, Tater fan, don't sit you laughing about something that happened 3 years ago. I will. I'm going to give you hell about it. I'm going to laugh about it because you all still talk about damn Citadel game from freaking 5 years ago. I'll laugh at you about Syracuse from 3 years ago. It was the last time you lost a game in the regular season, though. So, I mean, it's pretty impressive. Was it 33, 34 wins in a row now? Pretty good. This week's picks, there are going to be some tough ones. There will be some tough ones. As I mentioned already, you've already had one game canceled. What do we have this year? This week we got Kentucky and Tennessee. I don't know why that one popped off my head first. We got Kentucky and Tennessee. Can't talk again. We got Georgia, Alabama. Got Auburn and the Gamecocks. Got Florida, LSU. Got some matchups in the ACC. What you got? Virginia Tech and Boston College. Got UNC and, off the top of my head, Florida State. That's that one's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. I think that's like a 10-point line at Florida State. I don't know about that one. Anyway, those picks against the spread, they will come sometime this week. I can't promise you when that's going to happen. I've got a lot of stuff going on this week. As always, I'm working like a mule and busier than what I call a one-arm wallpaper hanger. I will get those picks out at some point this week. Had a death in the family on Saturday late, and got to I'll be going to a little graveside service tomorrow. What they can have of them. It's crazy. This coronavirus. I mean, you can't have funerals like they traditionally have them. But at any rate, I will come to you with those picks against the spread at some point during the week. So I enjoy doing them for you, and hopefully you get some kind of entertainment out of them, and maybe they're a little bit educational. I don't know. But I will see you all sometime this week. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to it. Click that little bell, ring my bell, so that you'll get the notifications whenever Carolina Jackpot drops a new video. We put some college football content out all week long, all year long, and we got some pretty good stuff going on here. We do picks against the spread every week, and we also do a podcast, and then there's also a little bit of craziness on Saturdays. I'll see y'all later. Appreciate it. Peace. I'm out. Go Gamecocks. Fire Coach Boom. Woo!